Oh, Sunday. Oh, Monday. Oh, Tuesday. Oh, Wednesday. Ooh, Thursday.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel at Peaceful Living with Miranda. I am a mum, I'm a teacher, I'm a stress and life coach, I'm trauma informed, and I love positive psych. What I do is I help women, specifically mums, with their child's emotions and their own emotions and calming nervous systems and understanding how emotions work so that you can create the family life and the parenting situations that you really, really want to, regardless of where you came from. So this is something that I work with parents all the time about when they have rage from their childhood come up, or they have things about how they've been treated come up, and then they start treating their kids the same and they don't want to do that. So if you're one of those people, then keep watching because we're going to be talking about some of that stuff. But the main topic we're talking about today is mental labor. So what is mental labor? How do you manage mental labor in motherhood, and 3 ways to help your brain. So 3 ways to help your brain when you are feeling like you've got massive mental labor load going on at the moment, or emotional load is what some people call it. Mental labor, emotional load, it doesn't matter, similar sort of thing. So let's jump straight into our 3 tips. All right, so the first one is stop keeping everything in your head. Stop it. Okay, stop trying to keep everything in your head because it's impossible. We can't remember everything. And if you're a mum like me, and, you know, again, in another video, I quickly shared that I'm like 37, so don't tell anybody. But if you're a mum like me, then you might have ailing parents. You've probably got work. You've probably got children of varying ages around the place. They might have their own mental health or neurodivergent stuff going on. You might be neurodivergent. You could have, you know, relationship stuff going on. You might have ex-partners. You might have, you know, all sorts of things, let alone the fact that you might want to grow a veggie garden like I do. You know, any of that sort of stuff, and just keeping a handle on schedules, on things like asthma puppers, on things like, you know, intolerances. We've got a lot of intolerances in our house, so look out for gluten-free things coming up soon because there's lots of them going on around here. So all of that stuff is mental labor. Okay, it's remembering to fill in the forms. It's remembering that it's book week and the costumes need to happen. Okay, it's remembering to pay for camp. It's remembering to, whoops, I need to make sure that I get a specific type of flower at the shop because my child has a reaction to another one. It's, oops, I forgot to buy new socks and my child's taken mine because they've got the same size foot as me. That's happening all the time. So those sorts of things are all mental labor. And then we've also got things like, have I spent time with my partner? All of that stuff is mental labor. So stop trying to keep it all in your head. This is my number 1 tip. Get yourself a notepad. If your brain is buzzing, get yourself a notepad, whatever it is. Use one of my, I've got a mental health checklist for you below, not a checklist, a mental health printable bundle. And I'm pretty sure there's something in there where you can just write down your stuff. Okay, so check it out. It's in the description. Okay, if you're on the podcast, it will be in the show notes. It is so important to be able to just go blah. Here's all the things that I'm thinking of, and just literally write. Don't try to categorize, none of that. Just write it and get it out of your brain, because trying to hang on to that stuff is just really hard work after a while. And your brain's like trying to hold on to it, like, you know, very, very carefully so that you don't forget anything. And if you're anything like me, you just do. You start forgetting stuff. A brain can only hold so much information in your working memory at the same time, even long-term memory. It feels like things fall out the back as you shove them in the front. So there you go. That's my little analogy there. So make sure that you do not expect your brain to keep it all in your head, because we can't. We're just people. All right. So stop trying to remember everything. Okay. So that's number 1 for mental labor in motherhood. Second thing is just one of my favorite things. Well, actually, number 1 was my favorite, but number 2 is my second favorite. Number 2 is delegate. And this is such a dirty word with a lot of the mums that I speak to, because they say, if I delegate, I have to make sure the kids do it properly. I have to make sure they actually do it. I have to argue with them to get them to do it. And then that creates more load for me. And my answer to that is, if you do that for 2 weeks, if you have to do that, 4 times with your child, okay, say they're, I don't know, sweeping the floor or whatever they're doing, a couple of times a week, whatever, just to help, then what are you actually doing in the end? Like, you shouldn't have to argue with them in 2 weeks' time when you go, it's time for you to sweep the floor. You shouldn't have to keep arguing with them. They might not want to do it, fair enough. Okay, but you've taught them how to do it. They know what to do, depending on how old your child is. If your child is 6, they can sweep the floor to a reasonable standard. Okay? The key is dropping your standards a little bit if you need to while they're learning, and also making sure they do it. It's not an if, but, oh my goodness, if you whinge too much, then you don't have to do it situation. It's you've been asked to do it. I'm delegating this. I need you to do that. And once you've done that, then we can. That's a big one I use in my house. Once you've done that, then you can. And that works really, really well for me. Delegating is very important because we need to shed some of those responsibilities we don't need, right? We don't need to be organising our kids' socks every second day. So there are so many ways to delegate, and I'll probably do an actual video on this very shortly because delegation is massive and so many people struggle with it. And so many mums in particular are doing everything for their children until their children are 15 and then expecting them to know how to do these things. And you just can't. You can't do that. You can't just expect them to know how to do things well when they're 15 just because they're 15. That doesn't work. You've got to train them bit by bit, which is very unfun at times. Let's be clear. All right, so delegating is my number 2 tip. Delegating is massively important. And just a little note on that as well. If you are delegating, you will have to, and you can open your hand if you need to, like this, when you hear me say this, because that's the physical side of it. You will need to let go of some control. Okay, us mums love knowing where all the strings are, and with all the, that like puppeteers with all the strings tied around their fingers, making them move. Look at my beetrooty hands. I've been preserving beetroot. I'll share how to do that actually as well very soon on this channel. But lots of mums have lots of control. They like to have control. And so if you like to have control, that's great, but that's really, really, really adding to your mental labor. So if you've searched this video to find out about mental labor, I am here to tell you that you might have to let go of some control. Very important. All right. If you search this up to find out about mental labor, then that's exactly what I'm telling you. You may have to let go of some control, and you're going to have to be all right with it. It's hard. Okay. If it's something that you feel like you actually can't do, then I need you to get in contact with someone. I need you to get in contact with me. I need you to get in contact with someone else, a therapist near you, and say, I can't let go of control, because it's pretty clear, if that's the case, that there could be some deeper stuff going on there, like from your past or from like an emotional stuff. And that's the sort of stuff that I work through with women as well. So it is really, really hard for some of us to let go of control. And for others, it's easy, but it's still part of it, regardless of whether it's hard or easy. All right. It's still part of the process. Okay. It's like birth. Birth is still part of the process, regardless of if it's hard or easy. You still have to move through it as hard as it is. And it's a little bit like that with some of that emotional stuff as well. Okay. So delegating is part of letting go of control. Okay. Now, just before we jump on to number 3, I would love to invite you to quickly stop this podcast and rate it if you haven't had a chance to already. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, I would love you to like and subscribe. Podcast too, if you want to subscribe. Like and subscribe. And if you like this content, if you feel like this content is going to help you, or any of the other content that I share. Okay, so I share lots of stuff on motherhood, lots of stuff, anything that I can think of really that's helped me, including I'm going to be sharing more about my preserving journeys, because I've got like a mini homestead idea going on here. And I love sharing all that stuff as a classic farm girl that I am. So here we go into number 3. Oh, just before we jump into number 3, don't forget to grab your freebie from in the show notes or in the description. Don't forget to grab those, because it's super, super important that you can support yourself mentally and emotionally. And it's a free printable pack. Come on, who doesn't love them? And it's beautiful. I promise you it's beautiful. All right, so don't forget to grab that. Now, number 3. Number 3. Now, this completely plays into my strengths here. Mums everywhere are secretly, or maybe not so secretly, feeling the constant mum guilt. Now, it feels like a bit of a tightrope just between judgment, guilt, trying to deal with all the things all the time. And we feel guilty, which is actually quite silly, but we feel guilty as a result of not being able to complete everything we need to, do everything we need to, and be there for our kids at the end of the day, let alone ourselves, our partners, and the rest of everything else that we're supposed to be doing. So I decided to address this issue head on, and I've written an ebook. It's called Stop Mum Guilt: How to Stop Running/Ruining Your Mental Health with Mum Guilt, and all about how I stopped it as well. So if you want to find out more about that, it's an ebook. It's on Amazon. You can find the links around my channel here, wherever you look, okay? And if not, look in the description below because I always pop it in there. It's super, super, super affordable, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. So it's called Stop Mum Guilt, and it's written by me, Miranda Hodge, and I hope it helps you out. See you soon. Number 3 is learning how to calm your CNS. Your CNS stands for Central Nervous System. Central Nervous System is something that has the vagus nerve, the biggest nerve in the human body, attached to it, like it's part of the central nervous system, obviously, because it's a nerve. Basically, the vagus nerve goes all through your body. And if you can stimulate that, if you can learn how to sensorily calm yourself in situations, then that is going to be really, really helpful for your mental labor. Okay, because mental labor gets our minds racing, and it gets our heart racing, and it gets our body racing, and it can get us into that real jittery response situation. It can really activate our nervous system in a bad way, okay? And it can really, sympathetic nervous system, it can really make us feel like we have to do something like fight or flight, like have to do it right now, all of that sort of thing. So we can calm the mental labor side of things a little bit by learning to calm our body down. And for years, people have talked mainly about mainly about minds, our mental space, our emotional space. But we know lots more about things now, about the holistic sort of space that we are in. Bodies have an impact on your mental space. Mental space has an impact on your body. Okay, so basically learning to calm down your central nervous system is so helpful, because it means that you can calm your whole system if you can start doing something with your body and become aware of it. So, case in point, a child goes, bananas about something. A child really gets into that real crazy state where they can't calm down. And you guys probably got toddlers, preschoolers, school-age children that are doing this. And as a teacher, what I do is I step in, I might hold that child's hand, or as a parent as well with my children, I step in, I might hold that child's hand, I might start doing tickly stuff on their back, and with my own kids on their back, and start to help them just calm a little bit out of that space. And if you're a good parent, if you're someone who knows a little bit about kids, and especially your own kids, and what can help them calm down, you probably know hugging them, or giving them something squishy to play with, or again, tickling their back, or playing with their hair, or getting them to jump on the trampoline or something like that, can really start calming their nervous system down. And that, as a result, calms their brain down too. So if you have got lots and lots of mental labor, if you've got stuff going crazy in your mind, because that's what all this labor sort of builds up and leads to. And again, check out my my recent one on emotional exhaustion recovery. That's recent, and same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing. So there you go. Calming your CNS, your central nervous system, is very, very important. So what could you do to do that? You could use a spinner ring. Oh, I had one on before. Oh, you could use a spinner ring. So I've got spinner rings on my website. Yeah, if you'd like to check them out. Anyway, links below. And you can get basically a spinner ring. This is my wedding ring, but you can get it and you can run up and down your fingers, or because it's a spinner, you can spin it around. And that sort of movement, as you got to focus your mind on it a little bit too, so that you can be aware of how that movement's feeling. Then that's a really great way to start just bringing attention to your body a little bit more, and it helps your brain calm down a little bit. Okay, other ones can be like fidget tools, sensory things, anything like that. If you've got a kid, you're going to know all about fidgets because they're all over the place. They are all over the place, the old fidgets, everywhere, especially as a teacher, they are just everywhere, fidgets. Take deep belly breaths. So lots of people know about this one too. You take big, deep breath right into your belly, like, and as you let it out, you can just feel the air really out of your system. And basically you need to take it right into your belly, and this stimulates that vagus nerve, and it leads to returning the body to a more of a parasympathetic nervous system state, which means a calmer rest and digest state. Okay, and the final one that I'm sharing now to help calm your CNS that I love because I am a singer, okay, is to do some singing, humming, or a low like om sound. So with my clients, I'll sometimes get them to like follow me and go, oh, like that for an extended length of time, whether it's 20 seconds or whatever, and see how far we get. Okay. And that really, for starters, starts moving some of the unprocessed emotion through, I think you'll find. But also it really helps calm the central nervous system because it's that vibration near the vagus nerve in here. So there's a major part of it coming down here, which is why I keep doing this unintentionally. All right, so there you go. There are 3 things that you can use to help your brain with that mental labor in motherhood. Stop expecting your brain to keep it all in your head. Download the thing below and start blurring it all out on a piece of paper. So helpful. Number 2, let someone in and delegate. So delegate. Work out a job for each child per week. That's what we've done recently. And go, this is your job for the week. Next week we're swapping. Okay, work out something that the kids can do and go, you know what? I'm not going to empty lunchboxes anymore. I decided this a while ago. I'm like, you don't get afternoon tea until you've come in and you've emptied your lunchbox and hung your bag up. And I was like, that is the most ridiculously easy, not harsh thing at all. And it's just made my life so much easier not running around trying to find lunchboxes from people. You might have some of these things in place already. Good job. But yeah, just some of that stuff is so simple and really, really helpful with the delegation. And number 3, regularly calm your CNS by using some of those different techniques. But the best thing to do is just to become aware of your body and then just calm it. Aware of your body and then just relax your muscles as often as you can. Okay, so that's super helpful. There you go. Mental labor, 3 ways to help your brain with that mental labor. Okay, at the end of the day, mental labor is not going to be taken away by doing this stuff, but it's going to help your brain be a bit calmer. It's going to help your brain sort of learn how to transition out of that hectic space a lot more. And also, the main thing that you need to know about mental labor is that if you don't have to do something, don't do it. If you don't want to do something and it's not necessary, then don't do it. Yeah? If it's necessary, do it. If it's not, you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to go to every birthday party. You don't have to do every single thing that you've done. Stop committing yourself to so much stuff. Okay, but I've learnt that one a lot, she says. But what you can do are these 3 tips and they will help you so much. So let me know. Have you tried them? Have you tried any of these? Do you have any questions about them? Drop comments. Send me an email, thecherishedcommunity@gmail.com. Check out the books below. Check out, all the other things in the description and in the show notes. I'd love to hear from you guys. Otherwise, you can grab appointments or whatever you want to at my website, peacefullivingwithmiranda.org. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, amazing day. I am once again going to pick up my children from school and take a deep breath. All right. Have a beautiful day.